Getting an NIL deal now that they've made it so far in the tournament?
I haven't heard from Applebee's yet. I'm surprised, but we've got a lot of marketable talent on our team, I would think. Kids that are playing hard, people that love Kansas, people that are really representing themselves in our university and our athletic department in a really good way. But I'm sure there'll be momentum that direction. That's kind of the way of the world. But right now we're trying to get ready for the Panthers the best we can.
How different is this run than your last one that obviously reached the Final Four? And you had seems like more veterans on that team. This is maybe a younger core. Is there a difference there? Does that play into how this goes or how this run plays out?
Yeah, I mean we opened up at home, in 15, played back-to-back matches at home. Got to play Missouri second round, which is great. Then you go out to San Diego, and I think for some reason we had the number one seed out there. The team kind of the expectations were really high the first round, but then we kind of let that go. Mm-hmm. And we played a good Loyola Marymount team and played well, and then obviously USC, the number one seed. And then to advance to a neutral site in Omaha to play Nebraska, that was great. But I think this team, I think what they say about, I think there was some pressure around, we had to finish pretty strong to get here. But now once that happened, I think they've kind of said, wow, let's enjoy this. And whether we're flying under the radar still, I'm not sure. We just beat two ranked teams, one on the road. So I'm sure we'll get Pitt's full attention and their best effort.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too. I mean, that's two really good teams you just beat. And does that give them a sense of, well, hey, we beat them. We played right there with Texas, as you've talked about before. I mean, We can do anything now. I mean, does that help? And is that there?
I think it was good to get back-to-back nights, offensively especially. And we've been okay offensively, but we sided out. That's a number every time they serve. If you win the points 60% of the time, that's really good. We were at 68%. So that's a really good number. So to have that kind of happen, and I think we've had people play well at different times, and I think we got everybody kind of on the same page this weekend. So we beat back-to-back really good teams. I mean, Oregon beat Stanford twice. They beat Washington. I mean, and then Creighton won 31 matches. So we didn't back into this thing, and I think we're ready for whatever lies ahead.
Coach, you have as much experience as anybody in the country, so it's ridiculous to say that you were formed by 2015, but still, does that experience inform your approach, your teaching this season? Does that help? You taking anything away from that?
Yeah, I mean, we made a Sweet 16 in 13, I think, 2013, and we had a little bit of a run. But I think what you learn from 15 is, hey, you freed up their mind, you prepare them the best you can, and then you don't know what might happen. You might catch a little light, you might catch a wave like we're kind of catching right now, and you go with it. So I think the other thing we learned from that is sometimes you begin to over-prepare the deeper you go into the tournament. Hey, we're keeping our practices at 90 minutes. Prep today, we'll go over Pitt's attackers, will be 30 minutes, it'll be the same. So I think consistency in our players' minds creates confidence too, in that we're just going to keep our routine as consistent as we can. So certainly we'll do that. But to go to Creighton first round instead of host first round, I think that should be the message to the team when this thing ends is, hey, potentially in the future, we need to work towards being one of those teams that gets to play at home first couple rounds or a little deeper into the tournament.
Ray, when you decided to, I guess, hand the keys to Cameron, was there a moment, did you have to sit her down? Was there a conversation or did it just kind of happen and you trusted her?
I just blew her up before she walked out because there was a moment.
Okay.
And she said, man, Coach B, I forget. And the moment was at Purdue, first weekend. She didn't play at all first day. We had one match against LMU, and I was out getting my steps in that evening outside the hotel, and she was sitting there with her parents. I just walked up on them and said, hey, how's everybody doing? Great, Coach, we're excited. And I just pointed her, I said, she's gonna be in the equation before it's all said and done this year. And the dad and mom kind of looked at me funny, and but I said, that's for real. And as we got deeper into her getting experience and doing what she's doing, you know, it's happened. You know, the 6-2, the two-setter system is still very functional for us because it allows Zabo and London Davis both to be on the floor, whereas the 5-1 takes one of those kids out. So there's a lot of reasons why that's still a good opportunity for us. But as you can see over the last 3 weeks to a month, the 5-1, the one-setter system got us more consistent, got us more. It's not a knock on anybody else. It's just sometimes the one-setter system creates a better opportunity for rhythm offensively and consistency. We're going to play a team this Thursday that runs a two-setter system. I did a little research. I'm not sure a two-setter system offense has ever won a national championship. And that doesn't knock two-setter system. It just means a one-setter system gets you in a better rhythm, better flow. It's like trying to, you know what, play alternate quarterbacks on every play. I mean, that's difficult. People don't do it. So a little longer answer than what you were looking for.
No, it was perfect. Did you you obviously knew she'd factor in, but has she exceeded even what you thought she could do?
I loved the kid when I was recruiting her. She flew under the radar. I think Washburn was her only other option, which is a good option for a kid from Topeka. But I convinced the staff that this kid could be really pretty special. Yeah, I thought she would, you know, as I see her play, she morphs into whatever situation she's in. The higher the level, she just seems to elevate to that level. So everybody said, well, she's a lower level club, high school was okay. I just thought she would morph into whatever level she entered into.
Sorry, go ahead.
How important was her play for what you guys are starting to do offensively? You know, you mentioned, I think, after the Creighton match, how well she played.
Yeah, we hit Creighton didn't allow one team this year, and they played Kentucky, they played USC, they played all those teams to hit above 300, and we hit 302. And some of their numbers defensively, Creighton were the best in the country, and she distributed the ball with a tempo. There's tempo, there's spacing, and there's location, and all three of those things she's getting a good feel for. And she comes across confident, and she manages the game. There's a lot going on, so obviously really proud of how she's taking care of all that situation right now.
As a coach, whether it be previous years when your teams have had high level of success or this year specifically, you know, you ask a lot of them, and whether it be the moment where they're converging on the court after a win or the locker room, when you see them going through what you've asked of them pay off in a big way, what's that moment like?
Yeah, that's kind of why you stick around in this profession and do what you do. You know, a couple years ago we had to make some tough roster management decisions that we thought would allow us to get to this point. And those aren't easy, and they're painful, and they sometimes will create a little bit of a lag in where you want to be. But then you see a team, a bunch of high character kids who do the right thing, play the right way, come to work every day, and you see good things happen. It's extremely rewarding, more than any award or anything else you might win as a coach.
Ray, you said a couple weeks ago when we were talking that just getting in would be huge for this program, but what does a run like this do?
Well, I think it gives your young kids an opportunity to repeat that. You know, a lot of times, there might be a team's got 6 or 7 seniors, and that's the one run they make, and then boom, you're starting over. Let's don't downplay the significance of Jenny Moser and even Lacey Angel, a couple of those kids, Sarah Nielsen and Audrey, that won't be back. But if you look at our core group right now, that could return, and some of the folks that are joining us. What we have now is what we feel like can be sustainable over time.
How about from a national perspective? I mean, people see Kansas on a bracket now or in the future, and all of a sudden, what do you think the image or the perception is of that?
I mean, I saw something the other day where the ACC bracket challenge was busted, all 1,000-some brackets after the first day because 0 picked Kansas over Oregon. So that's fun when that happens. But you know, as you talk to other coaches, this is when you make the round of 64, that's a lot of teams, and there's a little bit of excitement. But when there's only 16 teams to talk about now, you know, I had that conversation with Coach Self. That's when I think the national prominence really starts to develop. And you're playing second weekend, and there's not a ton of other teams doing that. So that, I think, creates a pretty good buzz, certainly around the country, about Kansas volleyball.
What's the biggest key to making it one of 8?
Yeah, it's you know, the team gets tired of hearing the pass and serve, but Pittsburgh's an excellent serving team, so we got to create opportunities to receive the ball well and serve it well. If you do those two things, then you negate some of the other things that they do. But they're talented, they're physical. Obviously, they've had a good run. They were a match away from the Final Four last year, and I know they've got high aspirations, as we do. So we'll need our best. Our good right now has been pretty good, so we'll see where that takes us.